everyone! It's been a while since I showed you some progress on my Caranthir cosplay. But slowly and steadily I have been working on it, and I can actually tell you, it's finished now. Still can't believe it myself, but yeah, the thing is done. So what's more to say? I guess let me show you how I did that, and let's get crafting. We left off at making the gauntlets and finger parts, and next up are the fingertips. The fingertips are molded around his fingers for a good fit. The fingertips consist of two parts. The top longer part goes over the top joint, and the bottom part is a bit shorter, that he can still bend his fingertips. These are heated up and individually shaped to his finger. After which the two parts can be heated again and stuck to each other. Worbla is self-adhesive, so no extra glue is needed in this step. It can be infinitely reheated to smooth out any dents and ridges, and once everything fits as we want it, it is left to cool down completely. And this is what the fingers look like when they're made out of Worbla. It's just a single strip on the bottom with a bigger strip on top. Next step is to paint them. And after painting, we can glue the fingertips on. This is done by covering the fake leather with some super glue and holding the fingertip in place till the glue has dried. We repeated this 7 more times so all the fingertips are glued on. After the fingertips, we can glue on the middle parts. These parts were already made earlier by folding the Worbla over a pre-made mold. I'll show you a bit more of that for the thumbs later in the video. With these on, it is actually starting to look like an armored glove, and it is time to add the thumbs. When fitting the gauntlet to my boyfriend's hands, I realized that this leather part was sitting way too much on top of the thumb instead of, well, right on the thumb. I was already doubting just to leave it like that and just to glue all the Worbla parts on like I did here, but then kind of crooked so that they were on the middle of the thumb and not on the middle of the leather. But I've been working 2 years on this costume. I can finish it off quickly, but ugly, or I can actually make it pretty, but do a bit more work. So what I did was I grabbed another piece of the fake leather and I just stitched an extra part on. I will have to fit this to him again and see if I have to cut this any shorter or not. But for now we have a nice full covering of the thumb on which I can glue the parts, just like that was done on the rest of the gauntlet. And yes, my boyfriend's hands are quite a bit bigger than mine. The lower thumb plate will have to slot in place on top of the glove. So for this I grabbed some paper, and through trial and error I end up with a template we can use to cut the Worbla. Sometimes you just realize that you had a plan and it turns out it won't really work. I made these two, well, knuckle thingies that I also used for the rest of the hands, but I don't think they're really going to work for the thumbs. This is what it looks like when, well, the two Worbla pieces that we just made, the thumb and, well, this plate, are glued on the glove. And now all that's needed is that knuckle piece here in the middle. However, if I'm going to use the knuckle pieces that I also used for the rest of the fingers, they're rather tiny and sad. So I think I'll have to remake them. This is at the point in the costume where I'm almost done. I really want to finish it, but I should not take shortcuts. I could just glue these on here and call it a day, but it just doesn't look right. And considering it's the 22nd of November and my deadline is on the 12th of December, after these gloves the only thing I have to do is belts. I still have the time to redo this, and then we should just redo this. So let's see, I'm going to figure out a way to make these a bit bigger, but I'm going to figure it out, and yeah, you'll see it when I thought of something. In the end, the solution was actually quite simple. I just grabbed the mold I used for the other finger pieces and used a bigger piece of Worbla with it. So the finger piece ended up wider than the rest, which is perfect for the thumb. After shaping it over the mold, I use a big marker to do the rest of the shaping. It is somewhat finger shaped, can handle the heat a bit better than the actual finger, and I don't have to keep borrowing my boyfriend's thumbs. After the finger piece is somewhat the right size, we can compare it with the gauntlet and cut it to its actual shape. When the finger piece is done and painted, it is again gluing time. And with that, the gloves are done. I'm really happy with how they turned out, and how much they look like actual armored gloves. Then it is time for Testfit, so we can build the last few pieces. Unfortunately, this is not a costume you will be able to put on alone, and some help is needed. Now that everything is on, we can measure and fit the last few bits. The belts are marked for hole punching. We realized the front flap was a bit long, so we marked how to shorten it. And we figured out how and where to place the gold diamond shape. So quite luckily we can manage with the two belts I already have. I don't need to make another belt, which is what I was thinking of first. Now, I do see that the markings that I put on the belts, one is here, one is there, they differ quite a bit. So I'll just make sure that the holes on the belt will be, well, at least here, but I'll probably make them all the way up here or something. Let's see, the difference is about 4 centimeters, so I'll just punch some holes every 2 centimeters and then we should be okay. My partner came up with a great suggestion to attach the diamond to the flap in such a way that it would still appear to be attached to the belt without ruining the belt itself. For this, I grabbed some more of the fake leather and cut a small strip, which was then sewn to the fabric flap, after which the diamond was glued on with super glue. And with that, we get to the last task, shortening the fabric flap, which was a simple case of cutting the flap shorter and again overcasting the edges to prevent fraying. With that, I can say that both Witcher cosplays are done. Took some time after 2.5 years, but in the end, I'm quite happy with the results for both of them. Of course, there are some things that, in hindsight, I should have done differently, maybe, but That's all in hindsight, and I'm quite happy with the result. And I'm just so very happy that I can finally say these are done. Finished. Off. It was definitely a lot of fun. They were fun builds. I have learned so much for these builds. I should have a photo shoot coming up with both of them soon. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And yeah, I guess it's time to start looking for another big new project or something. Maybe. We'll see about that. For now, thanks for watching and see you next time. Kan je een dansje doen?
Huh?
Kan je een dansje doen?